Welcome! This session is for teachers who want to create their own digital learning tools using Canva Code. Even if you've never written a line of code, you'll leave today ready to build something custom for your students in your classroom. I'm Brittany Washburn. It's my job to help teachers feel confident using tech tools, and that's what I'm going to do today. I am so glad you're watching, and I cannot wait to hear what you think of Canva Code. So what exactly is Canva Code? It is a brand new tool, of course, depending on when you're watching this video, that lets you build interactive modules, and all you have to do is describe what you want. It writes the code for you, and it is already powerful enough to create quizzes, forms, graphic organizers, games, everything you can think of, and more. So I'm going to show you some of the cool stuff that I've created so far, and then give you a ton of tips and tricks and walk through how to create something using Canva Code. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch of stuff that I've made. My background is teaching tech skills, so all of these are themed. A technology use agreement that students fill in, and then they can download as a PDF their finished one and print it out. Block coding adventure. So this is an interactive activity that works right in the screen. Kids word processor user interface experience. Just got started with this one with the beginning prompt. I have not asked it to change any design or have anything extra yet. Computer explorer, so learning about operating systems, user interfaces. It's a learning module basically, and it just keeps going and asks comprehension questions throughout. A typing speed test, and students can pick a passage that they have to type. It has some grade level goals and a progress history. A block building simulator that can be used to do engineering challenges. Mouse and trackpad tutorials. So this is another one that is like a learning module, and it walks students through mouse skills. Using these tools, I've created a really cool website, kidstechskills.com, that I'll talk a little bit about later. This is a KWL chart that students can fill in and then download their finished KWL chart as a PDF that they can save or print or turn in as an assignment. So making a ton of really cool stuff with Canva AI. All right, let's get back to the training. Who am I? I guess it matters a little bit. I am a tech teacher turned curriculum designer. I am the creator of the K5Tech.net elementary technology curriculum and that really cool little website that I just showed you, Kids Tech Skills. And I also have a course now on coding your own digital learning activities. And I built it around ChatGPT, but once Canva came out with the Code for Me tool, I updated it with a module on how to take your stuff from ChatGPT and make it really pretty and kid-friendly using Canva Code, because ChatGPT cannot make it as beautiful as Canva Code can. And I think having engaging looking activities is really important for young students. All right, let's talk about what we are actually going to go through in this training. I want you to understand what Canva Code is and what it can do, understand all the different types of learning activities. And honestly, I'm going to share 40 of them with you, but there's probably even more possible. I came up with a 3-step structured prompt formula that I will share with you, and we'll go through it together. And then talk about how to customize the design for accessibility and grade level appropriateness, and also cross-device compatibility to make sure that you have everything that you need and you can think of, and I've got some templates for you there. And then how to plan out your next or your first classroom-ready Canva Code creation. I first want to talk a little bit about how Canva Code compares to Google Forms, because I have a feeling a lot of you watching this have used Google Forms to make stuff for your students, and you want to know how it compares. Basically, Canva Code can do quite a few things that Google Forms cannot, like custom layouts, interactive visuals, and the ability to export either to PDF or different formats of getting the data afterwards. It really is like a little tech-based playground for your creativity. This is a very short list of what can be built. Fillable KWL charts or any graphic organizer that the students are going to type in. Matching games, it's really, really good at making matching games and making them engaging. Quizzes of all kinds, reflection forms, which are great for exit tickets or even warm-up questions, formative assessment, calculators of all shapes and sizes, learning modules, my favorite current way to use it, and digital puzzles of all different kinds. And I cannot wait to show you some of these today. All right, I had talked about creating a prompt. So I came up with 3 steps that are really helpful. For example, over here, this is a prompt template for the interactive sorting game. So this is something that Canva provides. So it has on its screen, let me show you, these templates already created, but that's it. It's limiting to that. So I found a way to make it so much better than the starting point that Canva gives us. But I've learned some things along the way that I really want to share with you. And I'm going to start with saying that Canva Code works best in layers. You'll prompt it once for the function, get that correct. You'll prompt it again with some design changes, and I've got templates for that for you. And then finally, you'll be able to enhance it with some custom stuff, and I'll give you a list of what is possible that I've found so far. And I created this system to make it really predictable and effective. So my first big tip for you, or trick, is to do some planning before you prompt it. So you're going to want to understand what academics you want to bring in. So I love to use ChatGPT for this. I plan out the academic content before I even get started with Canva Code, because it works best if you provide things like the vocab or the teaching points or the essential questions, so that Canva Code can focus on the function and the design, and you put in the academics. The thing is, the first prompt that you put into Canva Code is limited in its number of characters. So it has a character limit that is shorter than once you get into the actual code chat screen. So if you try to include too many details in this first prompt, Canva will make mistakes. It will strip down your idea. It will ignore design details, and there will probably be errors or broken layouts if it is too ambitious in that first prompt. But we do eventually need to include all of this. So knowing ahead of time that you are going to need all of this information helps you plan it out. So here's the suggested workflow. Once you have your academics planned, we are going to go to prompt planning step 1, which is the function. What do we need this activity to do? What sections are needed? What do students input, match, complete? Have that thought out. And if you can get like 50% of this answered, we're in a good spot for prompt 1. So after you filled it in, you will let the code populate. And then once it's done, you will test it as though you are a student. Then we move into design. So once you have the function the way you like it, and it might take more than one prompt. You might be like, oh, that's not what I meant, fix this. But then step 2 is the design. And I have some suggestions based on best practices for using a computer screen or a device for learning that you can just copy and paste into there to get a really solid, kid-friendly, screen-friendly design. And again, this might take a couple of prompts, but it is all part of step 2, which is the design. And then 3 is how we are going to enhance it. This step is optional if it has everything you already want. You don't have to worry about this, but you can add additional things like being able to download as a PDF, having a score summary on the screen, making sure that it's print-friendly designing, adding a field for the student name if you're going to collect it, custom headers and footers, all kinds of extras that you can add if you want to. So now let's go through a demo. I want to show you what is possible. And I have been racking my brain. I've actually recorded this 3 times now with I really want to wow you with what Canva is capable of that just hasn't really been able to be done before now. So we are going to create a differentiated activity with branching scenarios. So I picked the topic of digital citizenship because I want this to be something that I can actually use in my curriculum. And I have the prompt design for function, design, and enhance already done. And then I pre-planned the academic content. So I already have this. So I am going to pop the function prompt in to Canva Code, and then we're going to talk about it. So to get here, we're on Canva AI, and I have selected the Code for Me option. Pop my function prompt in there and let it populate. So I chose this because it really shows off everything that Canva Code can do in one interactive activity. We've got logic, feedback, design, scoring, branching paths based on student decisions that gets differentiation in there. And because this is what I teach, it teaches a real life skill. So as tech teachers, we're constantly looking for ways to help our students make good digital choices and not just memorize rules. And this activity hopefully accomplishes that. So the goal of this is to walk students through scenarios. And I picked a 3rd grade level because that's the lesson that I need. And let me talk now through what this prompt is going to do, which is create a branching scenario, digital citizenship quiz about what info is safe to share online, how to respond to unkind posts, and password sharing with friends versus adults. And then it should keep score and show the score at the end. Okay, here is the initial design that it came up with, and then the function. We have to test it as though we are students. So that is a really important piece of this. I'm going to go ahead and click and see what it created for us. Okay, I answered it and it gave me some feedback. Again. And gave me a final score and have a button to be able to take the quiz again. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the text is red if it was a bad choice. I like it. It gives good feedback there, and it gave me a score. Okay, so now step number 2 is design choices. And I'm going to come back here and grab this and then talk about it. All right, now that we have the core logic and the branching built, it's time to make it visually engaging and age appropriate. Canva Code is powerful, but it doesn't always guess what that specific grade level, in this case, 3rd grade, might need in terms of readability and accessibility, but that's our job as teachers, right? We know what they need. So we're going to tell it exactly how to style this activity to support our students. And I have a format that I follow that I really like. So we're asking it to use Lexen font, left align the text, use colors very strategically, 1 scenario per screen, though it already had that. But I had thought I wasn't exactly sure what the design was going to be, including next buttons, display the current score, add animations so that it's extra engaging. Let me talk a little bit about why I chose a couple of the things I did. First, Lexen. It's a font that has been researched and tested to improve reading fluency on a screen, which is amazing for our students with dyslexia, ADHD, or any kind of different needs. So I use it every single time because it is research-based, and I don't want students to have to overcome the font that I choose to be able to do the academics of the activity. Icons and layout is another piece that I add. The colors. I want students to see clean, left align, screen-friendly visuals. It gives them that engaging piece and makes it clean and easy to understand for them. I also want touch-friendly buttons, because if you're going to be working across device types, tablets, touchscreens, it matters to add that accessibility. And I always want to at least take care of that ahead of time, knowing that I might be using this with students using a touchscreen. Okay, let's review the design changes. We can already see the font is different, and okay, we've added icons here, and I like we have the score there. So let's see. Okay, I like the change of visual here. We've got our score. We can take the quiz again. Excellent. And if it's not, okay. Okay, I have the third step prompt. Let me put that in there. And then we'll talk about it. Okay, this final step is honestly my favorite part. We take the learning and we create an output that helps us as a teacher. So the first steps are making sure that it's student friendly. This third step is all about how am I going to collect this data, because we all know that we need all the data. In this case, we're going to make a digital badge, a score summary, and a celebratory message so that the students feel like they've completed something and we get the data that we need. It's going to be right on the screen. So this is something your students can take a screenshot of or raise their hand and show. This is one of the benefits of if you decide to make an activity that you want to download the final result, and I could add that to this. If you have like an assignment in Google Classroom, Seesaw, Canvas, you could have them upload that PDF into the assignment as something that you're going to collect. Let's see what Canva comes up with. All right, let's take a look. I intentionally picked a wrong answer. Smart tech user. Okay, so I might ask it to fix that, but we can also have them start over. That one fit in a little bit better. So we can ask it to make those updates as needed, and you can just keep iterating. And that is actually one of my biggest tips. Never feel bad asking it to do something slightly different or go in a different direction. This is like a robot assistant. It does not get annoyed with you. You can ask it to make as many changes as you want. So once you're happy with it, you can click Use in a Design, and it will load it into a Canva presentation, which I recommend publishing as a website, and then you share that link with your students for them to be able to come and complete the activity. Okay, back to the presentation. I've made some other really cool stuff. Learning modules like an online safety for really young students, different practice activities for online test taking questions to help students get familiar with the different formats of questions, vocabulary matching activity, and so many more. I wanted to share some very specific strategic tips and tricks. Always prompt it in layers, because Canva needs layers in order to not mess up or give errors or strip down your idea into what it can handle. Be as direct as you can, not too wordy, because you don't want to give too many choices. Design it with the students in mind first, and then add what you need as the teacher after. Always, always, always test it as though you are a student. Test it from student devices to make sure that it works before you share it with your students. And then make prompt templates that you can use over and over again, and I have a couple of them for you. All right, so what's next? I want you to create your own activity. So choose your learning goal, use the activity planner that I'll share with you in a moment. Write your first prompt, go through the process until you're satisfied, test it with your students, and then improve it. Like anything else that we do, make notes of what can be done better, go back into the Canva Code editor and make it better. I have a couple of free things for you to go along with this training, and it is the prompt planning template as well as a design tips cheat sheet. And then I created, using Canva Code, an interactive library of activity types that are possible. So I had Canva create this for us. There are some filters that you can find relevant activities. You can pick a grade level, band, and a subject area, and it will show you a matching activity type. When you click on it, it has a description, some learning benefits, and a prompt template. So this is your step 1 prompt, the function, to help you get started, and you just fill it in with your specific information. So there's 40 different activity types here, and it's a really great way to get you started with creating Canva Code activities, though I'm sure that this is not a comprehensive list at all. There are so many more possibilities. So down in the video caption, you'll get all the details for how to grab these. If you want to take this a step further, I do have a course that I mentioned as I was introducing myself that takes this a lot further. So if you want to learn how to host and share the activities, how to collect student data with spreadsheets or scripts, the course has all of it. It also includes a whole lot of lessons that go a lot deeper than this training did, as well as a whole bunch of templates to get you started with creating these things. It was built specifically with ChatGPT in mind, and now it also includes a module on how to take that information from ChatGPT, put it into Canva Code, and make it beautiful, which helps engage our students, as we know. So you can use the coupon code AI Training to get 25% off if you decide that you want to take your learning further and sign up for this course. Okay, it is now your turn. What will you build first? I want to hear about it in the comments, or what have you already built? Let's give each other as many ideas as possible in the comments and make this a community building, amazing experience for students and teachers. I cannot wait to see what you come up with. Thanks for watching.